Some of you may have heard this already, but I figured I hadn't done an official video on it, so here it is. The Model 3 just got some updates. As of June 4th of 2020, they have brought a bunch of features over from the Giga Shanghai version of the Model 3, many of which were in my Model 3 wishlist video, which I'm really happy to see that hopefully Tesla's watching and they can do all the other stuff I recommend they do, but yeah, that's not happening. Wireless charging is built in by default. No, not the kind that lets you charge the car. That would be kind of interesting. But no, the actual accessory that Tesla used to sell separately that allowed you to wirelessly charge two phones in the center console right beneath the display, which I must say, between all the different Teslas out there, the Model 3 and the Model Y get it right when it comes to where you can put your smartphone while you're driving. Model S and X make it a lot more complicated. It has to kind of be tucked away and you can't really look at the phone while it's charging, which is great when you're parked, not during motion. Okay, we're not using our phones while driving. That's not what autopilot means, people. But having that built in by default is nice, as well as the adoption of USBC, my favorite port because it's symmetrical, reversible, unlike those traditional USB-A ports, which I know you have a lot of cables and accessories that already support that, but how much collective time have we wasted as a species trying to plug in the USB port the right way, because this port is symmetrical, but it's not reversible. So you can plug it in wrong so many different ways, and if you're buying a techie car that, has the hardware for full self-driving, you're obviously kind of into technology and software updates. If you're that kind of person spending, 40 grand plus on a vehicle, I think you're the kind of person who probably has some USB-C cables around. So adopting that for future smartphones as more and more devices are coming with USB-C cables out of the box standard now, to me, it just makes sense. The Model Y was already doing this ever since day one. So finally bringing over Model Y features to the Model 3 is greatly appreciated. This is also a good heads up for some of you who may not have known that Tesla does not do annual upgrades where they just at the beginning of every year introduce the new 2020 version of the Model 3. No, they do little small incremental updates whenever they seem fit. So they're unpredictable. You don't know when they're going to happen. You don't know how long it's going to take for something to get refreshed, but that's why I exist and I'm here to inform you about a small incremental change the Model 3 got. I don't think this is persuading anyone who's on the fence about a Model 3 of getting one, but if you haven't bought your Model 3 yet, or you're gonna take delivery of it later, as long as it was built after June 4th, you get to flex on those previous generation owners that even if they took delivery of their Model 3 on June 3rd, you have a few advantages that they do not have, so you get to flex on them. Congratulations. There's still probably a lot of changes to the Model 3 that have not been made yet that were in my Model 3 wishlist video, which I just wanted to remind people of because this is on the theme of taking things that the Model Y was doing by default and bringing them to the much cheaper, much more affordable Model 3, which is redesigning of the rear unibody, because the Model 3 has like 70 different parts back there, which all require manual labor and more machinery to put together, and that results in the car costing more to make, which results in pushing that end cost out to the consumer, whereas the Model Y is working towards having one single cast unibody rear part, which should be much easier to assemble, much easier to produce, and apparently this new manufacturing equipment, which should make that one-piece unibody for the Model Y possible, it could potentially reduce labor costs by up to 20%. If they brought that type of redesign and manufacturing efficiencies to the Model 3, can you imagine how much more of a profit margin that would mean, and the potential for Tesla to lower the price of the Model 3 so that it's more competitive and we can have a bigger, healthier gap between where the Model 3 and where the Model Y sits. There's also no reports of a heat pump being added to the Model 3 either, which was a great but noisy addition. Those Model Y owners out there who have heard the heat pump in action know it's kind of noisy, but it does help with power efficiency a lot and it's able to heat the cabin a lot better than a Model 3 X or S can. So if they were able to bring that to the Model 3, it would be a much better vehicle for winter usage. It would be able to prolong range. I want them to do it. They haven't done it yet, so I'm going to keep bringing it up until they do. Other than that though, expect no major changes with the Model 3 other than maybe some behind the scenes new battery chemistry, which we aren't going to hear about until Battery Investor Day, which no, we still don't know when that is. And for those of you who keep asking, no, I don't know where the long-range rear-wheel drive Model Y is. Tesla has not given us any updates on it, so if they do provide some, I will fill you in. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.